Wanna play?
Wanna play? Wanna play? Wanna play?
Wanna
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James with McKenna, and today we're gonna be doing the one ranking video that every other horror YouTuber has been too scared to do. It's too much of an ambitious video. Too ambitious of a ranking. But for our 800 subscriber special, there was nothing else I could do but rank the Saw traps. Now, people have done this before. I've seen them do tier list rankings, but nobody has ever taken every single Saw trap and put them in a list ranked from the worst Saw trap all the way up to the best. And today, we are here to be the first, as far as I know. If anybody has done this, and I'm just completely oblivious to it, because I looked it up and I didn't see anything, but if anybody has done this, leave them in the comments down below, because honestly, I want to check some other ones out. But without any further ado, it's time to rank every single Saw trap. So let's get straight into it. So I'm basically going to be doing this video like I've done a couple of my other bigger ranking videos in the past. For those new to my channel, basically what it is, I'm going to be talking about my bottom 5, my top 5, and then every 10th entry. So basically I'll be talking about the 50th, 40th, 30th, and then my top 5. Things along those lines. And in last place for me is going to be the Electrified Staircase from Saw 2. Because this isn't really a trap. It's just kind of an awkward thing where just like, oh, you walk up the stairs and every now and then you get shocked. It's not going to kill anybody. You just walk up the stairs and, okay, you get shocked. And that's the trap. Like, it's nothing really special. It's nothing memorable. It's just, you walk up the stairs and you might get electrocuted if you do. So, in last place for me is going to be the Electrified Stairs from Saw 2. At number 60 is another trap from Saw 2, and that is the Gunshot Peephole trap, because this is just such a weird trap to where, like, the likeliness of it actually getting set off and actually working is just a little bit too much to really be believable. Like, in order for this to work, and somehow it does in the movie, but it's just, it stretches credibility a little bit because you have to look out this keyhole and you have to make this like specific movement while you're looking out the keyhole, and then the gun gets shot and fires through your eye. So it's an okay, kill. It's got good gore, and yeah, the kill itself is pretty good. I'd say it's probably one of the gorier kills in Saw 2. But just the premise itself it's a bit of a useless trap in that regard. Like, I mean, it ends up working. It does, but just, as I said, the premise, it's a little bit weird. Coming in at number 59 is going to be the backward shotgun in Jigsaw. Now, first of all, I'm not exactly sure the credibility of this one. Like, I'm not sure how somebody would be pointing a shotgun at somebody and not notice that it could literally backfire at you. Like, that's a pretty stupid character decision on that part, and also I'm not exactly sure if that's even possible in the first place to do, but it also comes in the middle of the weird scene at the end of Jigsaw where it's like, oh, this is all happening before the events of the first Saw, even though Tobin Bell, who plays John Kramer, looks 15 years older than he was in the original Saw, because, well, he was. It's just a weird twist, and it's just a dumb trap that just stretches credibility when John Kramer's like, you've got it all backwards, and she's going to shoot the gun, and then the guy goes, oh my god, wait, backwards, and he shoots, and then boom, it just explodes into her face. It's one that, yeah, it just stretches credibility a little bit, and for me, it's going to come in at number 59. At number 58 is going to be the metal casket trap from Saw 3D. Now, this is just a weird one where the guy, like, starts off in this, well, really metal casket dangling above this really small bed of spikes, and it kind of like turns, and he has to get out of the metal casket and not, impale his feet. But what he does is he crawls onto the casket, right? He crawls underneath it, and he's hanging on, and it's being held on by a chain, so he just rocks himself back and forth and just jumps over the small bed of spikes. It's just a weird one that's just so easy to beat, and it's just a little bit out of place in this movie because Saw 3D has a lot of very good traps, But this one is definitely the weakest one in this movie because it's just so easy to beat. Like, I don't really understand the point of this whole trap. At number 57 is the Ezekiel Banks trial from Spiral. Because this is really just a recycled trap from the first one, done worse. It's the one in the first one where the guy has to cut his leg off, but instead of having to cut his leg off, Ezekiel Banks, the main character played by Chris Rock, is chained to like a pipe by his arm, but in reach of his other arm, there's like a hairpin, so he just picks it up and unlocks himself, and there you go, he just walks away. There's no cutting off any limbs, it's just, oh, that's convenient, boom, boom, done, walks away. So, yeah, it's just a recycled trap, but done worse, so it's gonna come in at number 57.
Which key? Tell me which key it is!
Time's running out.
Get up and get down here right now, asshole!
What's more important to you, officer, arresting me or the life of another human being?
At number 50 is going to be the Gallows from Saw 6. Now, this is the one where the main character comes across two other characters pretty much dangling like in the gallows. One of them is this middle-aged woman who has a couple kids, but the other one is a younger man in his 20s who is kind of a drifter. You know, he doesn't really have that much family, doesn't have that much friends, and it's this moral thing that puts this guy through the ringer, makes this guy have to decide whether to keep the older woman alive but who still has kids, or the younger person alive but who really doesn't have as much to live for as this older woman. It's basically because this guy's philosophy was kind of like that. Like, he kind of would always say, like, yeah, the younger guy should live because he's younger, he's got more to live for. But this one, it really makes him question that, and he chooses to let the older woman live. So it's a good trap, it's a nice little moral dilemma for the guy, but it's a little bit, I don't want to say tame for a Saw trap, but it's, I mean, kind of, it's kind, I mean, yeah, number 50.
The necessary numbers have been etched onto 2 of your teeth. Look to the chart as a reference for which teeth to pull and in which order to enter the digits.
You make it! Come on, you can make it! You gotta keep Stop it!
Coming in at number 40 is going to be the pig vat in Saw 3. Now, this is a creative one, albeit one that, I mean, probably shouldn't have happened. It's basically Jeff from Saw 3. Everybody knows Jeff is like the guy who's really bad at making quick decisions, like horrible, and this is no exception. So one of the guys who has wronged him in the past, and he's lying in this vat as dead pigs, just like their carcasses are getting like carted on this big friggin' thing that's just like bringing them, dropping it down into this like shredder, and then just exposing all this just nasty pig, like shredded pig guts, and it's just a whole bunch of them, and the guy's about to drown. And what Jeff has to do is that there's a room full of some stuff that he has like personal attachments to, not people obviously, just like items that he's become personally attached to, and he needs to burn those items in order to save this guy's life. But what does he do? He takes absolutely forever burning these items. He's like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And by the time he sets the items on fire, it's too late. This guy is just drowned in pig guts. So, it's definitely a creative trap, but one that, yes, probably shouldn't have happened, because Jeff probably should have been quicker with his decision making here.
Combination to the safe is written on the wall. Hurry up and program it in, but watch your step. By the way, that's a flammable substance smeared on your body, so I would be careful with that candle if I were you. Now it is you who has a chance to bring her to justice. You alone can grant her the gift of life before she freezes to death.
At number 30 is going to be Dr. Lynn's shotgun collar trap. So Dr. Lynn is in Saw 3, and basically her job is to keep John Kramer alive. And if John Kramer dies, his heart rate is kind of hooked up to the shotgun collar, so if it flatlines, these 4 shotgun shells will shoot her, basically, and just explode her entire freaking face. And what happens is that Dr. Lynn is Jeff's wife. We spoke about Jeff earlier. He's the slow guy that got the other guy killed in the pig vat. And he comes in and he can't control his emotions or something, and he kills John Kramer, and uh-oh, by doing that you inadvertently just killed your wife. The 5 shotgun shells around her neck just go shoot right up into her face, and she falls backwards, and just her whole face is just gone. It's a cool trap, it's pretty gory, and it's pretty creative, and for me, it's gonna come in at number 30.
Move with haste, though, for when the 60-second timer hits 0, the one who has given the most flesh will release their bindings, while the gears on your opponent's head will engage, piercing their skull. Right?
down on the device in your mouth, which will start the motor that will rip your fingers away, leaving you free to escape with your life.
30 seconds, the jacks holding up this car will fall, setting off a deadly chain of events. In order to stop this from happening, you must tear yourself away from the seat to which you are glued. You are breathing in a deadly nerve agent. You've been breathing it since you arrived here. Those of you familiar with the Tokyo subway attacks will know its devastating effects on the human body. The only way to overcome it and walk out that door is to find an antidote.
Come on! Get him out of there! The door! The nail! I can't get it open!
Coming in at number 20 is actually going to be the grain silo trap from Jigsaw. Admittedly a pretty goofy trap, but one that is actually scary and tense because of the reality of it. Now there are a percentage of farmers that in the real world, this is how they die. Like, there is a yearly percentage of farmers that die by being trapped and drowned in their silos. And this one, yeah, it's basically like that. The characters walk in and some other idiot that was playing the game opens up a door that he shouldn't have, and while they're in the silo, it starts filling up and they almost start to drown, and then somebody starts chucking weapons down at them. There's like knives, axes, like all these crazy weapons just get thrown in out of absolutely nowhere. It is pretty goofy, it is pretty ridiculous, but it also has that real life aspect to it and also mixes it with kind of some hokey fun nonsense with all those weapons being dropped on them. So for me, the grain silo trap from Jigsaw comes in at number 20.
The decision of which to survive falls upon you. But remember, the mounted gun will continue to fire until all 6 rounds are spent. And if no decision is made on your part, all 6 will perish. You just lean forward into the knives with your face. Press hard enough, and you'll release the arm or leg restraints that bind you. Take a breath, the clamps around your chest will close in and crush your body. The only escape is in the other's failure.
Coming in at number 10 is going to be the subway trap in Spiral. Now, I'm going to go on record right now and say that this is the best opening to a Saw movie. It is the scene that made you realize, even though it is only the first scene, it's the scene that made you realize, hell yeah, Saw is back. Because of just how good it was and how much of an old school, intense feel it gave you. It's this guy, he's hanging in a subway by his tongue, and he has to cut his tongue off, otherwise he will be hit by a train. Like, that is how you do a saw trap, and it is just shot awesomely, just bathed in the color blue. I just love how the scene was lit, love how it was shot, love just the idea of it and just how crazy it is. I mean, yes, the weird voice, "Hello, I would like to play a game," does throw something in there for me to complain about, but it is just, minus that, an awesome opening kill. One of my favorite opening kills in all of horror, so it's gotta come in at number 10. We're finally in the home stretch, the top 5, here we go, and coming in at number 5 for me is going to be the public girlfriend slicer from Saw 3D. Now, I know that there are some people who complain about this, asking, oh, why did it need to be in public? Why would John Kramer do that? How about because it's a movie, and it is a just crazy fun kill that this is. Now, maybe calling a saw trap fun isn't really the best way to describe it, but that's kind of, I don't know, it's elevated by the fact that it is in public and that people are actually watching it happen. And the trap itself is really cool. There's this girl tied up to the ceiling, and there are these two guys who she was simultaneously cheating on with each other, and they have to decide whether to kill each other or let her slowly lower down onto this saw and get killed herself. And they decide to kill her, and she just gets lowered down and her whole gut just goes and just rips in half in front of this massive crowd of people. It is a crazy kill. It is a crazy way to open this movie, and it comes in at number 5. At number 4 is going to be Eric Matthews in Saw 4. That's right, the ice block trap. This one is crazy. Eric Matthews is standing on thin ice the entire movie, and it's slowly melting away. And the guy who's pretty much going through the whole game, his whole thing is kind of like, you need to be patient. That's what John Kramer is testing him on. And there's 10 seconds left, otherwise they think that Eric Matthews is gonna die. But Eric Matthews, he's already found out that since it's about patience, if he comes in before that hour is up, Eric Matthews is gonna die. So what happens, of course, the guy breaks in, there's 10 seconds to go, he busts in, Eric Matthews, he starts hanging, and then all of a sudden these two ice blocks just come down and just boom, smash his head into a billion pieces, just shatters it completely. Blood everywhere. It is crazy, it is gory, it is insane just how the ice blocks come together and just smashes his head. It is an awesome effect, an awesome trap, and it comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is, of course, the most classic trap in the entire series, the reverse bear trap. Now, this is, yes, it is the most classic trap in the entire series. It's been used a number of times, whether it be on Amanda in the first one or Jill in the 7th one. Now, Amanda in the first one, obviously, she gets out of it. But Jill, oh boy, Jill, finally, 7 movies in, she gets the reverse bear trap placed on her by Mark Hoffman, and it finally opens. Her head just Oh my god, it's nasty. It just leaves a hole just in her entire face. Like her whole face is just hollowed out like a hole. It is crazy. It is nasty, gory, and disgusting, and the effects are just awesome looking in this kill. It is an amazing trap, the most classic, the most memorable in the entire franchise, and for me, it's gonna come in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is one that, taking all of these traps into account, is pretty underrated. It's one that I feel like should probably be talked about more, and that is the fish hook from Saw 3D. Because this one right here is probably the most painful one for me to watch, at least. Because it's so painful, and just how it's set up. Basically, there's this girl strapped to a chair, and there's a guy who has to pry out a key attached to a fish hook that has been lodged down her throat. So there's a key down this girl's throat that will free her, and this guy has to take it out of her throat. All of the while, she can't make any noise. She can't scream, otherwise these 4 spiky poles will keep continuing to get closer and closer towards her neck. Every time she makes a noise, it gets closer and closer and closer. So if she screams, then her whole neck just gets stabbed 4 different ways from these crazy sharp pole things that just keep coming in. And it's so difficult to watch because it's just so disgusting. It is one that you would never want to find yourself in, just having this guy having to pull out a key from your throat attached to a fish hook. Oh my god, it's gross. And it comes in at number 2. But coming in at number 1 is gonna be the Beakers of Blood from Saw 5, because this one is just horrible. All these characters have gone through these traps, gone through this game, and they've all died except for 2 of the characters. And this is when I realized, oh my god, if we weren't so selfish, we could have possibly have beaten this trap, and we could have all came out alive. Because there's 6 slots, I believe, maybe 6, maybe 7, something like that, where you need to stick your arm into and get as much blood as you possibly can. And once you fill up the right amount of blood, it will open the door and you'll be set free. But since all these characters are idiots and they died off in all the previous ones when they could have teamed and survived, there's only 2 characters left, and they just have to saw through their entire arm, both of them, and just fill up this beaker of blood. It is so nasty, so gross, but also just, for whatever reason, it's one that I can't look away from. It's one that just, I'm glued to the screen whenever it's on. Now that might seem like psychotic, me saying that, but it's done in such a way where I have to watch it. And because of that, I just think that this is such a standout trap, and it really is my favorite. It's my favorite in Saw 5. It's my favorite in the entire Saw franchise. And for me, it is the greatest Saw trap of all time. So thank you for watching my ranking on every single one of the Saw traps. Maybe let me know your ranking in the comments below if you're down to do it. If you're down to do it, definitely let me know your ranking in the comments down below. And thank you everybody again for 800 subscribers. That is awesome. We're on the road to 1,000 now. I know it's annoying because every single YouTuber says that. And I don't want to be annoying like some of the other YouTubers that say that every freaking time that they hit a milestone. But yeah, thank you again for 800 subscribers. Thank you for watching this video, sticking all the way through until this outro. And yeah, just thank you for sticking with me throughout all these 800 subscribers, if that makes any sense. I've been filming for a while, you can kind of tell. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. You can subscribe to the channel below if you would like to, and you can also follow me on Instagram at JamesFromWannaPlay if you are interested. You don't have to though, but thank you for watching this video anyways. Goodbye and good night. Bang.